You see the glimmering gold shining back at you, and on top of it, a dragon, sleeping soundly.
Let's throw a rock at it. Are you kidding me? Let's wake this crap up.
Its eyes open quickly and chomps you straight to death. You are dead.
But I'm the main character. I can't die.
Welcome back to Bard and Barrel. We are here. It is a new year, and we have a new question for everybody out there. But Riley, first, in your experience, when is it okay to kill a player character?
An interesting question. I've only ever done this once. In my experience, in the occasion that I experienced, the players made a tactical error in a fight against a big baddie, and they sent the spellcaster off by himself. The three went to the left, the spellcaster went to the right, same distance from the enemy, so the enemy picked off the one person that was by themselves, and um, per the moment and the way that the enemy was, I decided that they would go for the kill over, leaving them to continue with the party.
Right.
And there's various reasons you can do this. In my personal opinion, the players were high enough level that they could have either resurrected them themselves or found someone in the game to have helped them with it, which they ended up choosing not to. But that's okay. That was their choice. But I think it really depends. There's a lot of options here. There's a lot of options. This is one very specific one, obviously. But have have you ever? I know
Yeah,
you've
I
had at
did.
least
Well,
one.
yeah, it was our campaign. Well, it was the campaign I was DMing in. You were a player in, and we kind of had like finished your character arc. Again, I've only ever done this once as well, and we had kind of a mid-game discussion. We got to a point where, hey, this is at his climax. We can wrap your character up right here. He's kind of served his purpose as you wanted him to, and I know you wouldn't mind re-rolling and playing a new character. I could see you were kind of like uh, pushed your limits with that one, and were ready to kind of tie a bow on it. And so, with some discussion with you, it was kind of like a way that we tied it up. We just tied that bow on it, and we moved on. Right? We ended up killing you. You sacrificed yourself, right? Gloriously, and um, selflessly, as you'd say. But yeah, that's the only other time I've done it too. Um, so it was very much a mutual agreement. It wasn't just me as the DM offing somebody. Whereas in your case, I guess you weren't playing the Skyrim NPCs where everybody attacks one at a time and they're nice to you. You were
Yes.
very much playing as a regular monster probably would, and said no mercy. Boom, you made a mistake. You're punished for it, right? Checkmate, kind of a thing. Um, so yeah, I mean that's probably the only other times I've done it. Trying to see, some DMs are very comfortable with just offing players like it's nothing.
I I do know there is a group that I play with outside of ours that I know it is very high recycle. There's one player that I think in one of our campaigns made close to six different characters because he just made decisions that got him killed, or he went off on a separate adventure on his own character, blah blah blah. Um, and it's just that's what it is. If you die, you get to make a new character. So
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like it's that big of an issue if you die because you can just make a new character and rejoin the party. We find a new way to insert you into the party and off we go. But there are other people where it's like, no, this character's precious to the entirety of the campaign, not
right.
just this, small moment. And so, yeah, that is interesting. I guess it depends on the DM and obviously the player and the moment. Um, I guess there's a couple reasons here. One, it could be the player. Maybe there's an issue with, them thinking that it's a video game. I'll just respawn at the last
Mm,
save.
yeah.
No, that's not how D&D works. There is a lifespan to your
I mean,
character.
yeah. They just got main. They're like a main character. You can't kill me. You can't
Right.
take me down. Um, And if I do, I just come right back, kind of a thing, like a very Borderlands vibe, right? Where you just
You just
evaporate
pay
or
pay
whatever.
10 grand and you're alive again.
You're
Yeah.
back again,
Yeah.
well and true, ready to grind it out again. That's true. I mean, I'm sure there's DMs out there who play like that. Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't seem traditional, I guess, to have a
No.
system like that at least. Um, but I don't
What
know.
are
Yeah, go ahead.
no, what are, I was just gonna ask what are some other ways that
Yeah,
why would it be necessary? Is
let's
there
see.
a real way
As a
to
DM, yeah. So I guess they're saying that when would it be necessary as a DM? I think we've mentioned a couple so far, right? So you've got like obviously player mistakes on the battlefield, let's say, kind of also teaching them a lesson per se. We've
and you want to be
got
careful with that one. You don't want to teach them too much of a lesson. You don't want to be too rude, but yeah, if they are living a life of carelessness, then teaching a lesson might be in order.
yes, that's true, and obviously like if you don't want to make it appear like you're out to get the players either,
Right.
like that is just that's going to cause a lot of problems on the table level, or sorry, outside of the table is what I should say, where they're just going to be more resentful of you as a DM if you're just like, out to get them. And I'm sure people have dealt with DMs like that, and also perhaps players. But um, I mean, the example that we just gave at the very beginning, right? Player stupidity might be a good one in there, where
Right.
they're just like they're asking for it, right? Either picking fights that they shouldn't be picking, or throwing rocks at dragons. That doesn't make any sense. That's not a good idea. Um, let's see. Those are off my head. Any come to mind for you?
Um, I mean, closing up story arcs.
Mm,
Like we talked about earlier, if if the player is struggling with the character that they made, in my situation in your campaign, I was playing a character that was well out of my comfort zone. I was a glass cannon, die hard, um, damage dealer, single target damage dealer, where I normally play a support spellcaster. Like I'm not the front line, do the damage type person, and I kind of fell out of love with my character. I was an old man. Um, and it was pretty feeble, and I don't know, it ended up a couple, you know, months into the campaign, I found that I really wasn't loving my character, and he had served his purpose and the purpose of the campaign. And so ending the story arc because the player isn't having fun anymore, I think is also another way, if you're wanting to use this as a way to tie it in so that story wise it makes sense, rather than just, oh yeah, you know, Herbert is dead now all of a sudden, and now Jalea, the warrior queen, is, now part of the party for some random reason. Like
right.
if you're trying to find a way to tie it in, then player death could be in order for that, for
Yeah.
story purposes.
And that's where I'm
But
like
yeah,
more comfortable with player death because I invest a
right.
lot into my players' like backstory, bringing that to the campaign level, making them feel immersed and feel included in the campaign with what they have brought to the table. I like to do that a lot. And so for me to lose a player, that hurts. And that's sometimes I've
It,
got things lined up down the road
yeah,
for like domino effect to happen into place. And like to lose a player is very uh worrisome sometimes for me. And it's like, ugh, like I don't want to do it, but sometimes I mean if the dice roll against you, like
yeah. There's always that too, where the dice maybe just aren't in your favor, and it you don't that's the other thing, is you don't want to coddle the players either.
that's
If
true.
they're having a bad time and not taking a tactical retreat because they're outnumbered, or the dice are against them, there are consequences of that. Don't feel like you have to pull dice back because things aren't going their way and you're scared you're going to kill people. I've done that in the past, and I feel like you if you do that often enough, your players once again kind of be like, oh well, if we ever get in trouble, he's just gonna back
Yep,
off, and it's
100%.
like, so there's a
And that
line
slowly,
here,
that's what slowly builds up that God effect where they're like, oh,
right?
we're the main characters, we can't be done. Like,
Right.
and so you can actually develop this. I think you can kind of be the cause of this as a DM if you're not willing to follow through with your punishments, right?
That's a good point. Right.
And
And so
so,
you got to be
yeah,
willing to just roll with it as the dice fall. Sometimes that's just how it goes, and hopefully the players start to get the picture. That's like, okay, we should back up. Like this isn't a good idea,
yeah,
or whatever.
this is quickly
But
going south. Yeah,
yeah, similar to your point earlier of you don't want to gain a reputation as a DM. I know plenty of DMs that they tell me about their campaign and they're like, yeah, this session I'm gonna try and kill the whole party. I'm sorry, that's not my gameplay. I hate it when DMs are out to against the players. The DM should not be the enemy. They play a lot of the enemies, but they are not the enemy. They are there to immerse you in a world, and there creates a headbutting conflict when the DM or the players are out to destroy the other person's fun.
yeah,
And so
100%.
I like the idea of using this as a story element or a way to reform a character so that the player can be happy and therefore make you happier as a DM because they're going to be more interested in your world as a player that they enjoy. So if you're just out to get the players, um, I guess if that's your play style, more power to you. But
And if your players are okay with that, then I guess that works. And we can't really say much, but
whatever keeps the fun at the table
yeah, that's true. At the end of the day, right?
at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, you're here to have fun. So that's whatever works.